Hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to my Skyrim Dragon Priest Mask guide. This guide will showcase and explain how to get each Dragon Priest mask within Skyrim. Dragon Priest masks are unique pieces of headwear that grant a benefit to the player that all belong to a uniquely named Dragon Priest. Gathering each of the masks will also unlock a final hidden mask. First up is the wooden mask. This mask can be found at Labyrinthian. Head to the area and head into the central barrow. At the centre, leaning against a dilapidated Dragon Priest shrine, will be the mask. The mask has a base armour of 2 and it has the unique effect of transporting the player back in time to when the Dragon Priest shrine was not destroyed. Within the shrine will be the slots for all of the Dragon Priest masks, and once all have been placed within it, it will unlock the final mask. In order to leave, head back to the normal world and simply unequip the mask. First up is Hevnoraak. This mask can be found on Hevnoraak within Volsung dungeon. Enter the dungeon where a spirit named Voldar will approach you. Voldar will ask the player to retrieve 3 vessels.
We stand at the tomb of Hevnoraak, who has been dead for many generations. I fear, however, that his return may be at hand. 3 vessels in the tomb below hold the power to vanquish Hevnoraak. Before anything else, we need those.
Once all 3 vessels have been collected, the player will pour the contents of the vessels into the basin. Sit into the throne and Hevnoraak will resurrect.
You found the vessels. I was worried that I had sent you to your death. Very well. Empty the vessels into the sconce near the throne. Then sit in the throne.
Simply kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armour of 23 and is considered heavy armour. The mask also grants the bonus of making the player immune to both poison and disease. Next up is Krosis. This mask can be found on Krosis at Sheer Point. Head to the location and simply head towards the word wall. As the player gets nearer, Krosis will resurrect. Simply kill him and loot his corpse for the mask. The mask has a base armour of 21 and is considered light armour. The mask also grants a fortified bonus to lockpick, archery and alchemy by 20%. Next up is Morokei. This mask can only be obtained after traversing through the College of Winterhold questline until you get to the quest, the Staff of Magnus. Once you have this quest, you will gain an item that will allow you to enter Labyrinthian. Once you have access, follow the dungeon through until you get to the final room. Enter the room and kill the 3 enthralled ghosts shielding Morokei. Once he is free, kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armour of 5 and is considered light armour. The mask also increases the player's magicka regeneration by 100%. Next up is Nahkriin. This mask can only be obtained when travelling to Skuldafn on the back of Odaving. Once there, traverse through the dungeon until you get to the portal to Sovngarde. Before entering, simply kill Nahkriin and loot his mask. You only have 1 chance to loot this mask. If you leave without looting it, you won't be able to return. The mask has a base armour of 23 and is considered heavy armour. The mask also grants an additional 50 points to the player's magicka, as well as making destructions and restoration spells cost 20% less magicka to cast. Next up is Otar. This mask can be found on Otar the Mad within Ragnvald. Make your way into the dungeon where you will need to kill both guardians who each carry a skull key. Once both keys have been collected, place them in the slots of the sarcophagus where Otar will then resurrect. Simply kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armour of 23 and is considered heavy armour. The mask also grants a resistance to fire, frost and shock attacks by 30%. Next up is Rahgot. This mask can be found on Rahgot within Folhost. Make your way to the dungeon where Captain Volmir will ask you to retrieve Rahgot's mask for the army you side with in the Civil War.
You there, hold! If you're a true friend to Skyrim, you will help me in my mission. This was the last great bastion of the dragon cult, and their leader's mask was reported to be quite powerful.
Enter the dungeon and fight your way through until you come to the Four-Host Refectory. Once there, Rahgot will emerge from his sarcophagus, kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. After collecting the mask and leaving the dungeon, if you head back to Volmir, he will be dressed up in the opposite armour of the side your allies were in the civil war, trying to persuade another soldier to retrieve the mask. Confronting Volmir will result in you needing to kill him.
Oh, hold on, I can explain.
Thalmor, you rat. You're not a soldier at all. Must be one of the Thalmor.
The mask has a base armour of 23 and is considered heavy armour. The mask also increases the player's stamina by 70 points. Next up is Vokun. This mask can be found on Vokun within Highgate Ruins. Upon entering the ruins, you will come across Ansgar, who will ask the player for help in finding a scroll for her.
You look strong. I'm Ansgar. Are you here to help? I've finally located Vokun's crypt. The scroll I'm looking for just has to be here. Maybe you could help find it. I just know it's in here.
Fight your way through the dungeon and you will come across the Highgate Ruins catacombs. Upon entering the burial chamber, Vokun will emerge from his sarcophagus. Simply kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The scroll for Ansgar can also be found in the room behind Vokun's sarcophagus. The mask has a base armour of 23 and is considered heavy armour. The mask also decreases the magical cost of conjuration, illusion and alteration spells by 20%. Next up is Volsung. This mask can be found on Volsung at the peak of Volskig. For this mask, you do not need to enter and fight your way through the dungeon. Instead, head to Volskig and start making your way up the stairs and head around the side and climb up the mountain. Once you get to the top, Volsung will emerge from his sarcophagus. Simply kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armour of 21 and is considered light armour. The mask grants better prices by 20%, increases the player's carry weight by 20 points and allows the player to breathe underwater. Next up is Konahrik. This mask can be found at the Dragon Priest Shrine within Labyrinthium by using the wooden mask. You will not be able to acquire Konahrik until you have acquired the previous 8 masks. Once you have all masks, place all the masks in their respective busts. Once all are placed, the shrine will present you with Konahrik. The mask has a base armour of 24 and is considered heavy armour. Konahrik has a few effects that have the potential to trigger. The mask has a 15% chance of healing the player when they are at or below 15% of their health with the Grand Healing spell. Additionally, it has a 15% chance of casting the Flame Cloak spell on the player. Furthermore, if the player's health falls below 15%, the mask has a 3% chance of healing the player's health fully, as well as summoning a Spectral Dragon Priest ally. That is all the Dragon Priest masks within the base game. Now let's move on to the Dragonborn DLC masks. First up is Miraak. This mask can be acquired after killing Miraak at the end of the Dragonborn DLC during the quest at the Summit of Apocrypha. Once he is defeated and Hermaeus Mora kills him, you can loot the mask from his skeleton.
You don't think to escape me, Miraak. You can hide nothing from me here. Miraak harbored fantasies of rebellion against me. Learn from his example. Serve me faithfully, and you will continue to be richly rewarded.
The mask's base armour, enchantment and armour weight varies depending on the player's level and whether the player has a higher level in light or heavy armour. The mask will increase the player's magicka by a certain amount regardless of whichever mask you acquire. Next up is Ahzidal. This mask can be found at Colbjorn Barrow during the quest Unearthed. Head to the barrow and offer to help Rallis. This quest will cost you 11,000 gold in order to acquire the mask. Pay Rallis 1,000 gold and wait for his message.
I've got a financier waiting for me back on the mainland. Sent me here in the interests of obtaining some rare antiquities. The relics of Ahzidal. What? Are you serious? Well, I think I could make that work. Do you have the gold? It's all here. Well then, looks like I have a good bit of work to start on.
When waiting, I find waiting at the market in Ravenrock for 3 days, then heading into the Retching Netch and waiting a day there, and then heading back out works consistently for a courier to show up with a letter from Rallis.
Let's see here. Got this from a pretty excited-looking dark elf around Ravenrock. He said it was important I got it to you as soon as I could.
Head back to Rallis where you need to clear out some Draugr.
This isn't good. We only got a little ways in when something managed to wake up the Draugr. Well, unless you want to deal with the Draugr, this whole little venture of ours is over.
Once done, head back out and speak to Rallis, who will then require 2,000 gold.
Now, I have to go recruit some more miners. It won't be easy, seeing as none of their friends came back from the first attempt. We'll have to sweeten the pot a bit this time. I think I'll need, say, 2,000 septums to hire replacements. I never get tired of that sound. It'll take me a few days to dig up some more laborers, but swing back when you get a chance. See how we're doing.
Repeat the waiting steps until another courier arrives.
Let's see here. Another note from your friend Rallis. I hope everything is alright.
Head back to Rallis and clear out some more Draugr.
Draugr again. I mean, we should have expected it, right? What else do you find in these damned crypts but waves and waves of Draugr? You've had some luck with these things before. Do you think you could go back in, see if anyone's still alive?
Once done, head back to Rallis, who will then need 3,000 gold.
I'm going to hire some mercenaries this time too. Having some people around who know how to fight should. Well, it'll set the miners at ease, and hopefully keep them alive. But they won't be cheap either. It's going to hit 3,000 this time, I'm afraid. Have you got that on you? We're going to be making this back 50-fold, partner. Trust me on this.
Once again, repeat the steps of waiting for another courier.
For you. Let's see here. Another letter from Rallis. He's starting to scare me a little.
Head back to Rallis, clear out the Draugr, and then return to Rallis.
You go make the Draugr dead again, and I'll keep the rest of these Enwas from running off.
Once done, Rallis will then ask for 5,000 gold, which is the last time you need to give him a payment.
We've developed quite the reputation. 5,000. Good, good. This time I'll spring for some more experienced muscle. That should do the trick.
Repeat the wait step one more time, and once you head back to the barrow, you will need to read Rallis' journal.
Let's see here. I've got another letter from Rallis, but this is the last thing I'm delivering for. That place is just too much for me.
Once you have found out that he has been driven mad by Ahzidal, you will need to head into the depths of the barrow, fight the Draugr until you come to the final room. Once you enter, Rallis will summon Ahzidal. Simply kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armor of 23 and is considered heavy armor. The mask grants a 50% resist fire enchantment as well as increasing fire spell damage by 25%. This mask is also very useful for those that play as vampires to offset the fire weakness effect. Next up is Dukaan. This mask can be found at White Ridge Barrow. Enter the barrow and fight your way through the barrow. At the end of the barrow near a wood wall will be the sarcophagus. Once you come closer, Dukaan will emerge from his sarcophagus. Simply kill Dukaan and loot his mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armor of 23 and is considered heavy armor. The mask grants a 50% resist frost enchantment as well as increasing frost spell damage by 25%. The final mask is Zahkriisos. This mask can be found within Bloodskull Barrow. Despite being in that barrow, you will need to enter via the Ravenrock mine. Head into Ravenrock and you will overhear an argument between Krosis and his wife in the mine. Offer to help him where you will need to traverse the mine to find his ancestors' remains.
I do. I want to know what happened to Gratian, and what the East Empire Company is keeping from all of us.
Fight through the Draugr and continue through the mine until you come to a large room with a strange door. Loot the unique blood skull blade from the remains and finish the puzzle on the door by swinging the weapon in the correct direction. Once the door is open, head through where you will come across a large room with some water where Zahkriisos will emerge. Simply kill him and loot the mask from his corpse. The mask has a base armor of 23 and is considered heavy armor. The mask grants a 50% resist shock enchantment as well as increasing shock spell damage by 25%. And here we have all of the Dragon Priest mask locations within Skyrim. I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, thank you for watching.